Erica McEntarfer warns on data integrity. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is supposed to be boring. It's a United States government agency. It's good to be boring for them. But former Commissioner Erica McEntarfer just gave a speech that shows how fragile the system is becoming. She warned that once political leaders start pressuring data agents or firing people who deliver bad news, you risk breaking the credibility of the numbers themselves. And if the public can't trust jobs reports, inflation stats, or growth data, you lose the shared reality that markets and democracy depend on. It's a communications nightmare. The story no longer becomes what the data is, but whether the data can be trusted. Okay, so what's the real message here? The people from our own agencies in charge of giving us real data about the economy are warning us, saying, you're going into dangerous territory here. If people have to wonder, is this the truth or are you lying to make the economy look good? Our entire free market system, our capitalistic system can crumble. Let's go a little bit deeper here. Look, we Americans are spoiled. We got it so good, we don't even know what it's like to be from other parts of the world. Now, I'm not saying America's better. There are a lot of places in the world I've been, especially in Western Europe, but parts of Asia where I think, wow, I could live here. This is a great society. I'm not saying America's better. What I am saying is we have it easier than a lot of people around the world. If we invest in our stock market and the NASDAQ of American-based companies, our investment is rewarded. We are given essentially a 100% higher valuation for our companies when you look at the earnings they produce and what the valuation ends up being. We get about twice as much, sometimes 3 times as much as what publicly traded companies do in Europe, Asia, South America. Why is that? Well, in part, it's because the entire world trusted the United States. They trusted our Bureau of Labor Statistics to tell us what's actually going on. So if you see things are headed into a recession, you could sell stock if you need to. You had some sense that reality is happening here. And unfortunately, this trust is being eroded. We are seeing by a dear leader, the Great Orange One in DC, him saying, any fact, any data point that makes me look bad, that doesn't make it look like this is the greatest economy in the history of the world, has to be fake news. So I want to fire anyone who says that. You know, you can get away with that in the short term. Maybe you can even get away with that in the medium term. But if you want to look at the long term, then I urge you, look at Turkey, because they did this. They had 80% inflation. Look at what happened in places like Argentina and during the Perón regime. Look at what happened to certain countries in Europe in the 1930s and 40s that tried to control everything. Didn't end up well. And obviously there's other factors in this, but when you look at what happened to the typical investor in German companies by 1945, they lost 100% of their investment. So you got to be very careful about that. And it doesn't have to go to that extreme. Turkey, everyone I ever talk to who goes to Istanbul say, hey, great country, I'd love to come here, great, fantastic place. Not if you own stock there. Not if you're trying to run a business there. Because when the government, when the leader, when the dictator of a country controls all the shots, controls all the information about what's actually happening in an economy, nobody really knows. You start to lose trust. You start to look for other places to put your money. Why in the world would the United States willingly give up its credibility? It's one of the things that really made us stand out from a lot of other countries, a lot of other democracies, a lot of other economic systems. And it's why we were rewarded. It's why our stocks are so much higher, why we make so much more money when we do invest in the stock market, because of this credibility. And as this former commissioner who was unceremoniously fired is warning us. I'm glad to see her out. I can only imagine the sort of hostility she's facing and harassment she's facing for doing this, not to mention direct threats to her person. So I wish her nothing but the best, as well as I wish everyone in public life a long, healthy life without receiving any physical threats. But it is unfortunately a reality in the modern world we live in. especially, not only, especially anyone who criticizes dear leader is typically completely inundated with threats to their own personal safety. So we are wishing her well, and we're going to keep our tabs on that. Let's switch gears a minute, and we're going to go to the next big issue. I'm a little reluctant to even bring up this next issue. I feel a little bit embarrassed about doing it because I'm essentially playing into the hands of a demagogue, and I'm essentially guilty of what I'm accusing these social media platforms are doing.